legends are found. Legends World Challenge, we're ready to rock. Legends World Challenge, we're ready to rock. Tearing through the curves, leaving them in shock. Revving up the engines for an epic race. Legends World Challenge.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Legends World Challenge here on Infinity Broadcasting. I'm your commentator here tonight, Hamish Munro, bringing you all the action back here for the first season of this wonderful little Tin Top Championship. We are out here today at Knockhill for round number 2, of course. I'm your commentator, Hamish Munro. As always, it's a tough little circuit, this one, and after all the trials and tribulations out at Donington Park last week, we will see here tonight if our drivers are prepared and ready to wrestle their way around this beautiful circuit in Scotland, the north of the UK. Unfortunately, this week we don't have a Google Maps track splash brought to us by Jay Kennedy at SimSpeed, as they haven't actually got one for Knockhill. At least I don't have one at my possession. Cars are getting out on track there. We're going to get ready for qualifying now as they make their way through these beautiful twisting, turning and winding circuit as well. If you want to get in contact with us today, want to have a chat, get into the live chat of the stream on the YouTube stream. Unfortunately, I don't have access to the Facebook one on hand at the moment, but we will get into qualifying now. So, Knockhill did a couple laps around here earlier this week with the drivers as they began their practice for this track, and it is a real wrestle. It is such a difficult track to race in these cars. So many corners that can be incredibly challenging. If you haven't put the practice in before racing at this circuit this week, it is going to be incredibly tough for these drivers to get used to how much of a wrestle it actually is. You come up towards the first corner. It is such a fast run down this hill here through turn 1 up towards 2 and 3 as the drivers begin their laps now. Lindsell leading the way for qualifying. Anderson following him. But I see there, big slide of the rear tyres. Remembering, these cars are made to go around ovals. They're not made to turn to the right, so it can be quite a challenge in going through these circuits. The curbs as well. Curbs are absolute death around here, and if the drivers are not prepared for that, it could really throw up a challenge to them here tonight. Whether it's going to be early doors or not, we will have to wait and see. It's a quick lap though. It is an incredibly quick lap, under 60 seconds for a lap time in these cars. Should be looking around about the 57s for an average lap time. Could even get into the 56s here tonight. Ash DeVries saying yum yum in the chat. Jordan Ferguson saying, can I get a front and rear bumper shot of Jack Anderson's car? We can see the back of the car, new livery on this car this weekend with Pablo Schreiber, Amazon Prime's Halo Master Chief on the front of the car, and then a bit of wart action on the back of it as the times start to come in. Lindsell sets the pace early on with a 56.82. Filan goes a 57.23 on his first run round. Anderson goes 57.25. Crum goes 57.49, and Chief has gone 58.84. Not as many drivers as we had last week, unfortunately, but that means that we could be $1 every time I say early doors. Well, that's $2 now. I've said it twice. Johnny wrote in the chat as well. Great to have you out there. So it should be good to see how these drivers go here tonight. Going to be quite an interesting affair, as Jack has already decided to park his car on the tyres. Maybe given up early on here in qualifying, as we only have 5 minutes left. Is the short, sharp qualifying session as Sheafy goes P4 on the road ahead of Luke Crum. And Ash DeVries yet to set a time here in qualifying. Chris Tomlin yet to get on track as well. And I don't believe Johnny Rowe is actually racing tonight. So I believe we're only going to have 7 cars, but hopefully they stick together nice and close. It is a short circuit, regular affair here tonight of a 15-minute sprint and a 25-minute feature race at the end of the night, as DeVries comes around the final corner to start another lap. Be interesting to see if any of these drivers employ the similar strat as to what you do at Long Beach, where you go for the deeper line prior to going for a fast lap, just to get the run down the straight, then run the shallow line at the end of your fast lap, just to try and get the maximum amount of a lap around here. DeVries goes 59.7. We'll see if he can go any better in the final 4 minutes. Ashbury saying more excitement in the N24. Well, at least this race is not red flagged for the last 6 hours. Although Jack Anderson will make you feel different with him on the tyre barrier. Graham Filan now going to come down to start and get another lap. Let's go on board with him here. Check out the run down the hill in the 333 machine. Oh, you can see there it is such a tiptoe down the hill. You feel like you're on the ragged edge all the time. Look at that big curb strike. Gets it up on 2 wheels. You want to try and get it planted back down again. Jack was in the chat. Jordan Snoozy Boy Ferguson missed this race due to thinking he could have an all night as a 30-plus-year-old. This is true. The championship leader coming into this round missed this race due to, in quotes, having a nap. But in fact, we have come to the conclusion that he was just still asleep by that point in the day. Jack Anderson is still not leaving his car. He's just left it parked there on the tyre barrier. A nice little display for us as you see Ashos off the back of that curb there. Big curb strike. Spins it round, loses it, ends up in the sand and the grass. Needs to be careful not to need a bucket and spade out there. Linzel's brought it in. Only 2.5 or so minutes left in qualifying. Graham's still trying to set some laps at the moment as Sean starts to come back out. So possibly get some fresh rubber on this thing. Try and get an even better lap time out of it in the 5.54. We know he's got some pace. Incurred a stop-go penalty last week in race number 1 for round 1, where he actually jumped the start of pole position. Right now there, he looks to go pole position 2 weeks in a row in the first round, or first race of the evening, I should say. But we'll see if anyone else can bring a challenge to him, not only tonight, but for the rest of the season. So, should be a good time nonetheless. I feel like with people making claims that I say early doors too much and saying it's $1 every time, do I get the dollar or does someone else get the dollar? Because if I get the dollar, I will only say the words early doors for the next hour. And you guys will just be owing me dosh all throughout. So Linzel comes across the line. No one yet to beat his time of 56.58. He hasn't even beaten it himself. Goes 56.71 though. Showing his pace early. Filan's into the 56s there with a 56.94. I pay the money. Oh, that's just rude. Crumb's gone P3 with a 57.02. That was on his last lap. Anderson still hasn't moved. Doesn't look like he's going to try and beat his 57.25. I reckon he's, Jack Oz is just pulling up the meter right now. It's like a taxi being parked at the side of the road. Money to the Legends slush fund. Oh, maybe that's the new sponsor. Maybe that's what it is. Just Legends World Challenge. As Crummy spins it round into the final 60-odd seconds of qualifying. It looks like no one's going to be able to take pole position off Sean Linzel, who's just sweat-lording over the rest of the field right now, cutting lap after lap as we come up towards the end of qualifying. As I mentioned, 2 races here tonight. First race is a heat race, 15 minutes. This is what the grid determines. And then race 2 is a complete reverse grid. It is a 25-minute feature race here tonight. So, DeVries Anderson sandbagging. A bit ironically, he's on top of the tyre barrier. So that's normally where they keep some sandbags over there. So. No, he no sandbags. So 20 odd seconds left in qualifying here. Get your predictions into the chat. Who do you think is going to take out not only both the race wins here tonight, but also who you might think takes out the round win as well? Out of the 7 drivers we have in the session, Linzel, Filan, Crum, Anderson, Sheaf, DeVries, and Tomlin as well. As qualifying comes to an end, he gets cut off right at the last minute. And we will now get set and gridded up to go racing here tonight. The grid, small as it may be, condensed as it may be, we will see if it leads to some great battles on track. Linzel and Filan start on the front row ahead of Crum and Anderson, Sheaf and DeVries, and then Tomlin for P7 on the road. Short, sharp racing here tonight. Just how we like it. We'll see if they spread out on this small Knockhill circuit. Ferguson for the round loss. I reckon he gets deducted points for not showing up. I think that's the fair call here. There was also a call that Kyle Gretsch has been given a round ban, in quotes round ban, for some incidents he incurred last week. Whether that is false or fact, well, you'll have to come up with that reasoning in your own head. Obviously seeing how those incidents were last week. But cars are getting set up on the grid. We're going to get ready to go racing here tonight for the first time around Knockhill. No, drop round. Yeah, it's a drop round. It's a nap round for Ferguson. As all we await is Tyler Sheaf to get on the grid. He is out there now. So we'll wait to get gridded up. Will look to be a little bit of a movement there from Sheafy in the background. It almost seemed, but Linzel's going to lead them away down to turn 1. And we will see who is going to get the jump. Who's going to take advantage of this as well. Chris in the chat saying screen froze at the start of the race, so couldn't see where I was going. Well, not what you want there, Chop. Definitely not what you want. That's scary when that happens. And if it's at the start of the race, well, probably couldn't have been a better time to happen. You would hate for it to happen at the end of the race. DeVries saying, say Bryson 3 times in the mirror and he appears. Bryson. Has he appeared? We'll wait and see. Waiting for lights to go up, though, out at Knockhill. Linzel on pole ahead of Flyland with Crum, Anderson, Sheaf, DeVries and Tomlin in behind. It's go at Knockhill for round number 2 of season 1. As they come down towards turn 1 for the first time, looking to get in their line, get into their rhythm here tonight as Sheafy brings the attack on Crum in behind, but Crum just sneaks ahead of him here as now Flyland tries to follow them through the first couple of corners. DeVries and Sheafy having a battle at the back of the field. Does well, though, just to hold him off on that one. As DeVries already looks to make up positions here early on in this race. Crummy now in behind Anderson, trying to stick with him at this point. As mentioned, probably Bryson, let's keep it clean. The prophecy has unfolded. Bryson is now Beetlejuice. It's Bryson Juice, that's what it is. As Linzel leads it into the final corner for the first time this race. So it's a short circuit. If they can stay nice and condensed together, we should get some good battles on hand. So a lot of mistakes last week out at Donington, especially through the final couple of corners. I think this week, even though this track is a major wrestle, if the drivers can kind of control themselves through certain sectors, then we should be okay on the front of incidents happening between drivers or incidents happening self-inflicted. We'll have to wait and see. It's not quite as, I want to say, open as what Donington was in terms of its landscape. The walls are slightly closer. Track's a bit thinner as well, but we'll see how the drivers continue on as Crummy starts to put the pressure on Anderson, the 30 versus the 31. They come up towards the final corner. DeVries wants to get in on the action too. See if he's able to here off the back of Anderson's car now towards the final corner. Crummy trying to find an inside line if he can. Anderson just cuts that route off completely as they now come down the main straight. To continue on in this one, 2 minutes into this 15-minute race, so should be getting probably about maybe 15, 16 laps out of this one, being that they are under 60 seconds per lap. As Sheaf is already starting to fall off the back of this little battle pack here. Tomlin's screen freeze at the start of the race has hurt him at a massive rate. He's already 20-odd seconds down off the rest of the field. So he gets an opportunity to come back. And there's obviously no live race control, no safety cars available. This one is... DeVries is just trying to put heaps of pressure here on Crum. As Anderson tries to hold him back. This is the closest battle on track, of course. As we continue up towards the final corner. Crum's now taking the position from Anderson. Anderson trying to get this move done back on him. Down the straight they come onto lap 4. Little bit of wiggle room. There's been contact and Anderson's off the track and in the wall. Major damage to the 31. Crum and DeVries continue on. Sheafy lucky not to get collected. And man, oh man, the wart went straight into the wall on that one. He will not be feeling elite at all. And hopefully he can get some prophecy into him. Try and make his way back through the field. But who knows what reviews may come for that incident there with Crum and Anderson. As DeVries tries to keep the pressure now on the Duff entry of Crum. A massive incident early doors here in tonight's event. Lap 4 of this race, 3 minutes 40 seconds into proceedings. Down towards the final corner they come, as De Vries is putting massive pressure on Crum here. Maybe looking to get the receipt on him for Anderson, who knows. De Vries, the only driver to be up positions in this race, is up 2. Anderson's down 2. Everyone else where they started this race, as we go on board now with De Vries as he tries to chase down the Duff Beer entry. Looks for the inside line now on Crummy. Bit of a slide on the rear of the car as they run up too wide now towards the top of the hill. Oh, a bit of a wiggle. They're going to keep it too wide from here, and what a magnificent move there from De Vries. Crum looks to come back. Bit of a wiggle. Ends up off track. Very lucky not to collect Sheafy once again. And he now drops off the back of this battle between Sheaf and De Vries. But what a move there by the 404. Rick and Morty car there of Ash De Vries. Very, very well done. Very well controlled. Good job to both drivers to give each other plenty of room, as De Vries now leads to Sheafy into the final corner. Up the front of the field, Lindsell leads by about 2 seconds back to Graham Filand in P2. Ash De Vries back in P3. He's up 3 spots. Sheafy's up 1. Crummy about a second ahead of Anderson, so that battle's now going to continue on, and all on his lonesome is Chris Tomlin at the back of the field. Just trying to collect some points at the moment. We'll see if he can get back up the pace and maybe have a better run in race 2 here tonight, as it's looking like he could start pole position for that one. Remember, guys, if you want to get involved in this series, if you want to sign up for it, you can join our Discord. It is linked in the description of the stream. Come and join the Discord. Get signed up. It is free. We run Friday nights on iRacing, and then broadcast it here on Infinity Broadcasting. Chop of the chat still finished ahead of Jordan. I mean, you're beating Jordan in the championship now, Chop, so you're beating a round winner of the season. Low blow. Well, you should have set an alarm. You should have been awake. You've done this to yourself. No nap time in this house. That's the blessing in disguise of your house, Chop, is there's no nap time. It's just regular bedtimes for you guys. As Crum looks to start walking away from Anderson. De Vries and Sheafy still trying to go at it here. This is the battle for P3. Mr. De Vries tries to pick the gap back to Tyler Sheaf in the background. Can we reveal the news of that, Jackos? You can let me know in the chat about Sheafy as he tries to come back at De Vries now. Let me know if we can reveal the news about Sheafy in the chat as we come on to lap 8. 7 minutes into this one, so we're getting closer and closer to the halfway point of proceedings now. Everyone looks to have settled into their rhythm as Lindsell leads the way. It's up to Sheafy. Oh, fair enough then. Well, I don't even know if Sheafy's in the chat, so I don't know if he could tell me I could do that or not, but that's fine. Lindsell leads at the moment to Filand in P2 in the 333 VB entry there. Oh, hard-earned thirst. Well, he's thirsty for this podium finish, and he's thirsty for this win. But it is going to have to be hard-earned if he wants to beat Lindsell. De Vries and Sheaf continue their battle at the moment a bit further back in P3. They come down the main straight towards turn number 1. Everyone's just started to spread a little bit now. This battle's still nice and close. They're at least giving us something tasty to talk about other than food, which the chat always turns into. So it's good to see we have actually got some tasty Sunday afternoon delight for us here via the Legends. I think Sheafy will be hoping that De Vries drops his portal gun so Sheaf can get past him nice and easily. Doesn't want to have to fight too hard for it, but they have just settled into their rhythm now as well. So next week, of course, we go to Alton Park. We'll be Very, very good to go back there. Ash De Vries in chat. De Vries has an actual Dutch heritage. May even have direct descendants in the form of Nick De Vries or Max Verstappen. Ash De Vries. Okay, Max Verstappen. Ash De Vries. I thought of a new joke as well for you, Ashos, and I will say it live on air just for you, based on our what does Mario wear? As in Super Mario, what does he wear? Since no one said what yet, I'm going to answer with Joe. He wears denim. Back to the terrible jokes in broadcast. You love to see it. Anderson and Crum now starting to have a good battle in the background as well. So we'll see if they start to heat up a little bit though. But how is that damage affecting the number 31? Of course, they had a bit of a wrestle down that straight earlier in the race. 10 minutes into proceedings now. 5 minutes to go. No, he wore denim. Jack Oz, you forgot to tell the punchline before you forget it. No, I'm not I'm going to tell it before I forget it. I was waiting for people to say what, and then I couldn't guarantee if they were going to. Chop saying that you should just stick with your day job. That's fair play. It was a terrible joke. I will admit that. Absolutely atrocious. As the battle with Anderson and Crum now starts to heat up into the final 4.5 minutes of this race. It's definitely not one of my best ones. I will agree with you. That was it was cheap. He has a day job. Well, if you can claim this, then you can claim this. If you can't, then I don't know what to tell you, unfortunately. As they start to wrestle their way down the hill, you can see just how much they're having to dance the car over the curbs, dance the car through the curves of this track as well. Then up over the curvature, up the hill. It's so hard to get comfortable around here and willing to push. It took me quite a few laps to be willing to push it so hard. It's a whip. It took me quite a few laps personally to just get myself up to pace around this track. And I want to do this more often. Prior to the racing happening on Friday, I actually want to get in and practice in these cars around the tracks the drivers are at, as Anderson looks for the late move at the final corner, not quite there to get it done. And actually just see what it's like from a driver's perspective. How hard is it to drive this car around some of these tracks? When you're learning this track in this car, it is incredibly difficult, as Sheafy, I think, may have actually had an off a little bit earlier. We can see he's now dropped down the order just a little bit here comparatively to Anderson and Crum. So he's now dropped back into this battle as well. As De Vries is also struggling a bit further up. So yeah, really want to see how the drivers, you see that big wiggle from Anderson. He's now ended off the track as well. Very easy to do across those curbs. And we will get, let's get a better look at that one. That one there was absolutely wild. What a wild ride here. You see that, got it unsettled, caught the curb, and then shot him out wide and into the sand off the back of that one. That now spreads out our closest battle on track to quite far as Sheafy continues to lead Crummy on. So, getting a better feeling for how the drivers are actually learning these tracks and what it's like to actually race these cars at full pace around these tracks, because it is very difficult. This one especially was so hard to get to grips with. And then once you get to grips with it, you're then wanting to push the car. You're wanting to chase down those better lap times, to chase down the pacing as well. This car really promotes that hard racing. It also promotes, though, the willingness to race it hard as well. So I think it's leading to some great battles. And if we can get a full grid of upwards of 20-odd drivers, then I think we could be on here for something magnificent, something spectacular even for a racing series on offer on iRacing. So, you know, if you guys know anyone who you think would be interested, who has a free Friday night, sessions only take an hour or so. It's 20 minutes practice, 8-minute quali, 15-minute race, 2-minute warm-up, and then a 25-minute feature. you can be done before, I think it's 8:45 when the session ends. So it goes by pretty quick. And you get into some great on-track battles. You get hungry to try and find pace in the car. And it is actually teaching you some skills at the end of the day as well in terms of car control, really learning some different circuits. You may not actually race that often. Obviously, we've got to run Skogan in a couple of weeks. Who last raced at Skogan? Who last raced at Knockhill, in fact, as we get into the final minute of this race. Where is Linzel? He is going to come up and cross the line. So we're going to get one more lap in this race. When Linzel crosses the line, he should get the white flag. He is indeed. Barney is out. There's two Barneys out there. What? There's two Barneys in Knockhill. Very interesting. There's one there, and then there's one a bit further up the hill. So, Jack was saying first time he'd ever raced here. Yeah, so you're getting to race at some different circuits, maybe some more eclectic choices, but they're providing good racing. The Legends actually race here in real life. It was one of the reasons why it was selected on the calendar. So, come along. It's free for at least season 1. It's free at the moment. You get it broadcasted, you get some good racing, and you get some good banter out of it as well. All the drivers, I think apart from Chop, were in the chat, in the Discord chat on Friday night. They were all having a chat, having a laugh while they raced around. It was fantastic. Jordan Ferguson saying Barney squared. Illuminati confirmed from Jackos. That is true. As Linzel comes round the final corner in dominant fashion. 8 seconds, nearly 9 seconds up the road from Filan. He crosses the line, wins the first race here tonight, and he'll be looking to go back-to-back, and the first time anyone's won both races in one night this season. We'll see if he can do it in race number 2, as he will need to start from the back of the field and try to make his way through the carnage and up towards the front end of town. De Vries comes home on the podium in behind Graham Filan, so a great podium for him. Schiefer and Crum in behind. And then Anderson going to trickle his way down, as well as Tomlin to come across the line. Actually, he already has, I believe. So Anderson, the last to cross here for this race here tonight. As we now get a nice little 2-minute warm-up. We need to figure out a little 2-minute segment that we can do during the warm-up session. That gets the chat involved, obviously broadcast involved as well. Maybe like a little 2-minute quiz. Oh yeah, maybe we have a bit of a quiz, and then you guys put your answers into the chat. I don't know how we do that without anyone cheating. I guess it would just be, up to you if you wanted to try and cheat or not. Maybe I'll organise that for next week. We'll have a little 2-minute quiz. That'd be pretty cool. Maybe whoever gets most right out of the drivers, maybe they get bonus points in the championship standings. As Anderson going to do a bit of an expression session for us in the pit lane here out at Knockhill. So, but 25-minute race to come. They did spread out a little bit towards the end of that race. It was almost like they were clean for the majority of the running. There was that early incident between Anderson and Crum, obviously, on lap 4. After that, we were pretty clean, but there were some good little one-on-one battles out there. It'd be good to see if we can get some more battles happening throughout this longer race coming up here for the 25 minutes, as Anderson going around the back door to get on the tyres once again. Jacko's saying full send. Oh, full send. Full time. Get the dogs, park the bus. Big shout out to Boaz. If he watches this back eventually. We'll see if he ends up on track with the caravan. That'll be pretty cool to get Boaz out on track with us. And I don't know what Jackos is attempting here. I don't even think he knows at this point either. Maybe he's conceded that he can't make it past the invisible wall. Jordan Ferguson saying Mount Franklin. What? Putting his answers into a quiz that hasn't even happened yet. I might get a question of the day next time. We'll do that. We'll get a question of the day. Yeah, there's an invisible wall. But into race number 2, our feature race here tonight. This is how they will grid up. Nope, it's just, I don't know why the grid does that. But what it will be is it will be a reverse grid scenario of how they finished in the last race. So it will be Tomlin on pole ahead of De Vries, Sheaf, Anderson. No, that's not correct. Let's just get up the provisional results for race number 1. That'll give us the running order for this one. So in race number 1, we had Lindsell ahead of Filan, De Vries, Sheaf, Crum, Anderson, Tomlin. That's how they finished out. How they'll line up on the grid will be Tomlin to Anderson to Crum to Sheaf to De Vries to Filan to Lindsell. Whether Tomlin will start on the grid or whether he will start from the lane, that is yet to be seen. Maybe testing if he's going to have a screen freeze again or not. Not 100% sure. Could be on for some good action though. Hamish tell Matthew he'll be a wild card next race. Matt, you're getting on track next race. You're going to wild card out at Alton Park. Jack Oz, geez, man, get it right. I mean, I don't know why it's not working out for us here, but cars are grinning up. We're going to go racing here for the second time here this afternoon. They are away down towards turn 1. They come. Both Anderson and Crum had a good start off the line. Sheaf with De Vries and Filan in behind as Lindsell tries to make his way up the field. They come through turn 1. There's been contact between Sheaf and De Vries. I think Filan was involved as well. They scramble all over the joint here. De Vries just trying to get it back on the circuit at the moment. Tomlin comes through, who did start from the lane. And Anderson has taken the lead early on in this one. Livingston. We need a Livingston wild. If I say Livingston 3 times in front of a mirror, does he then show up as a wild card next week? Because if he does, I'll do it. Anderson and Crum lead the way. Sheaf and Lindsell follow suit. They've had a great run so far. Lindsell wants it up the inside of Sheafy here at the final corner, trying to run that inside line. Does well there on that one. As they come down the main straight, Sheaf looks to get the better run on Lindsell. Lindsell had the more shallow line through the final corner. Maybe tougher to get the power down on this thing. We come through turn number 1. Sheafy stays ahead of him at the moment. Good little battle starting to form. De Vries wants to get it on the action too. Go on board with him. Get the bird's eye view of the battle ahead between Lindsell and Sheaf. Come up over the curves. Yeah, it's a free car and track combo next week. So we'll be cheap to get into Livingston from Jack Oz in the chat. As De Vries continues to try and chase down Lindsell and Sheaf. Anderson and Crum have started to walk away at the front of the field. Lindsell wants the same move down the inside of Sheaf. Looks to get it done here. A little bit of a knock with the rear on front tyre there. Sheaf runs it slightly wide, but still going. De Vries now looks to take advantage as well. Now they're going to make it 3 wide down towards turn 1. Here they come. De Vries wants this. He wants the inside line on Lindsell. Oh, Lindsell's going to hold position though. De Vries is going to make it ahead of Sheafy now. And all of a sudden in the span of 2 corners, Sheafy's dropped 2 spots to Lindsell and De Vries as well. Filan wants to get involved. De Vries drops a tyre in the sand though. Sheafy looks to get the move done up the hill. Similar to what De Vries did in race 1. He holds him off, manages to get it through. And Sheafy had to back out of it the last minute. De Vries survives, so does Sheaf. Filan looks to get in on the battle too. And already at the start of this one, we're getting a little bit more intense than how it was early on in race number 1. As Anderson leads to Crum to Lindsell to De Vries to Sheaf to Filan to Tomlin. But this is the battle at hand at the moment. P4, P3, P5, P6 all involved in this one. And they are trying to stick together at this point in time. There's our relatives for this race. Get our intervals up as well, so they are still battling on throughout this one at this moment in time. Crum and Anderson still looking to continue their battle from last race. Anderson leading the way. Obviously, Crum wants to try and take a win. As Anderson yet to take his first win of the season just yet. Obviously, it's only been Sean Lindsell and Jordan Ferguson so far to take wins in this series. As Crum looks to get it done down the inside of Anderson. Anderson lets him have it, goes for the switchback. Wants to try and get this done down the front straight, or could be similar scenarios to last straight. Look at the amount of space that they left each other. So they've both learned from what happened in the first race. They've decided to leave each other plenty of room for that one. Oh, Livingston has appeared in the chat. Fantastic. As Anderson now takes the lead back from Crum. Crum's here, wants it back on him again. Looks to do the same moves that De Vries did to him in race 1 on Anderson. Up through the chicane they come. Oh, big curb hop there from Anderson. Keeps the position. And they continue on for the rest of this lap. As Tomlin's had a slight off track in the background, he's now dropped a bit of space back again. As Lindsell now looks to pounce on this battle too, hopefully get involved in a couple of laps, make this a little three-way dance for the top end of town for the lead of this race. De Vries, Sheaf and Filand as well. Livingston. So front three hard at it. Filand looks to get it done on Sheafy in the background down and towards turn number 1. Sheafy holds position though. Filand has to back out. These two little triple threat contests just starting to occur. Dagos saying, would you say these cars are made for this track? I mean, even though it is such a wrestle and feels like they are not made for this track, yes, these cars are made for this track. It is early doors, De Vries. It's early doors, Ash De Vries, as Anderson leads the way. Crum under pressure from Lindsell now down towards the final corner. Lindsell wants it down the inside. Oh, hops a bump though, big lock. They've had contact. They both spun it round through the final corner. Need to be careful there. Rejoins, a little bit of a knock. And Sheafy's been collected. 2 on the way through. Big blow up. De Vries goes up to P2. Lindsell stays P3. But Crum, the big loser out of that one, as Filand also makes his way through. I don't know if they've actually updated the scan of this track since they brought it in. As Anderson now leads this race. De Vries now on the podium as well. Lindsell remains on the podium for this one. Filand and Crum line up in behind. Oh, let's take a breath now. 6.5 minutes into this one, so still 18.5 minutes in this race to go. A lot of action can still come off of this. We've had so much here in the first portion. I hope you're ready for your main and your dessert yet to come throughout the rest of this one here this afternoon. Zell now looks to line up Ash De Vries as best he can. He's got him in his sights down the main straight towards turn number 1. Filand looks to have Crum all over the back of him as they now come down the hill as well. So these little pack of cars, it's almost like a tag team of battles, 2 1v1s sharing the same portion of the track. Tomlin's in the pit lane for whatever reason. De Vries and Lindsell continue on here in P2. Anderson started to check out already. He's up by 6.3 seconds ahead of these cars. At this moment in time in the race, fastest lap has gone to Lindsell. He's done a 56.61. $1, $2, $3 early doors. But have you remembered your key though? That's the question. If you haven't remembered your key, how are you going to open those early doors? If you forget the key, you're only going to be able to open up late gates. That fastest time to Lindsell as he tries to get it past De Vries now. Was a 56.61 from Lindsell. Anderson's a 56.88. De Vries 57.28, Filand 57 dead, Crum 57.03, Sheaf 57.16. They're going to continue this side by side up the top of the hill. De Vries has now lost out to Lindsell. Filand wants to get involved though in this battle as Crum lurks in the background. The pipe expert himself. As as they now get their run done down the main straight nearly 9 minutes into this race. So the battles continue on. I don't know what we're going to do if they start to spread out in this race. I hope this battle can continue on. They come down through 1 and 2. So Crum's starting to put some pressure on Filan here. De Vries just trying to survive at the moment. He's like a lone bird in a cage of lions. As Filan and Crum look to put the pressure on him. He's just trying to hide underneath the rock. Bit of a wiggle though, maybe a bit of lapse in skill issue. Catches it up though, drops some time to Linzell, but stays ahead crucially of Filan and Crum. And now they look ahead to the final corner. So I reckon Crummy and even maybe Filan could smell blood here. They know they've got pressure absolutely stacked on De Vries. De Vries in the chat saying the key may be a minor. A minor. Oh, you guys are absolutely loose units. But the pressure right now is stacked on that man, Ash De Vries, as he has Filan and Crum in behind him at this stage in time. See how he looks inside the car? Oh, he looks worried. That eye is peaking at the moment as the fast approaching hard-earned thirst mobile of Filan. He's getting attacked. Ironically right now, possibly for the first time in his life, Ash De Vries is getting attacked by Beers instead of attacking Beers himself. What has this world come to? For this alternative universe, I think he is legitimately Rick and Morty. We've gone to an alternative universe where instead of Ash abusing alcohol, alcohol is abusing Ash. As VB and Duff Beer try and get the move done on him. But Crummy, though, a bit of inter-promotional battle here. It's a multiverse, that's what it is. Jackals, that's what Jordan's eyes look like after an all-nighter. We're in the multiverse right now because, I mean, Duff and VB battling each other in behind De Vries. He's just trying to hold them off. But the irony of this one is not lost on myself, I must say that. As De Vries has a little bit of a blink up the road ahead of them. It appears that number 3 looks to be the most popular number in this field, obviously. There's at least 5 3s on a combination of cars. This probably looks good on the inside. Finally gives him plenty of room. That's how you leave room at the final corner for a car going down the inside. And now Crum looks to line up Ash De Vries ahead of him up the road. Battles look to continue on here in the mid-pack point. Sheafy's further back down the road, so he's had some issues here in the second running of Knockhill here tonight. Tomlin's had another off track here as he now looks to let the leader pass in Jack Anderson. So Anderson now leads the way, looking to have a wart of a time. Maybe show off his a master of the cheeks. And keeping them pressured, keeping himself in check, or in cheek, as we could say, for the rest of this race. Thanks, Shaz. Appreciate it. We feel attacked. I mean, you're under assault right now from the beveraginos of Duff and VB. So we're just pointing out the irony at this point. You know, I hope you bought an, I was going to say an ironing board, but that's not irony, that's iron. I suppose you could have an irony board. You know someone who had one of those at one point in time. I love the curb strike, as it appears De Vries does as well. No walls to hit off the back of those ones, though. As Tomlin's had another incident, he lets these guys now go past him. Goes yet another lap down in this race, unfortunately. He's just trying to survive, trying to get some solid points, trying to get acclimatized to this car as well. As we get up towards the 15-minute mark of this race. We're past the halfway mark, so that started to fly by a little bit. You've been lobstered. He looks to cover the inside line from Crum down towards turn number 1. Closest battle on track is this one. As if we can look at their last couple of sectors, Crummy's been a bit slower through the first, faster through the second, and slower through... Oh no, sorry, I apologise. Crummy is slightly faster through the first. De Vries is then able to go a bit faster through the second, and then Crummy pulls it back through the last sector of the lap. You can see there again. He's had to back it off a little bit through that corner, so... Battle continues here as we get into the final 10 minutes. Just a moment's time here. I'm sorry if you feel attacked, guys. I do apologise if you feel attacked. Trying to make it as entertaining as possible for everyone involved. Rhymes with wild boar. Oh no! I feel like my brain is just getting fried from the chat right now. As does a wild boar fries my brain as well. As Crum looks to keep the pressure here on De Vries up ahead of him. In toward these final moments of this race. 10 minutes to go now, so not long to go. We have reached the length of race number 1, 16 laps. Probably going to go about 25 or so laps, maybe 26 in this one. Current running order with 10 laps to go as De Vries appeared to have just lost it there and spun it round at the final corner. Let's get a little bit of a replay here happening of what has exactly happened to De Vries. So obviously he had slight damage on the back of the car, overcooked it a bit into the corner. Sheafy, Crum, Fireland and Tomlin come round. And now they look ahead up the road, and all of a sudden De Vries is now off the podium. And Crum looks up the road, back on the podium though. Sheafy looks to get this move done. He is a lap down, but he is more than welcome to get his lap back if he feels that he is faster than Crummy. The ironing board. Oh, wild boar rhymes with ironing board. Yeah, no, I got ya. They come up through the chicane. Big wiggle from Sheafy as he loses it in the background. Fireland has to take evasive action. Tomlin's had contact, and then he's had contact with Fireland as he's rejoined the circuit as well. They've absolutely blown it up. They've absolutely dropped out of position. De Vries came through unscathed. At least not any more scathed than he already was. Crum looks to have survived the little debacle and continue on. Oh man. Wild boar also rhymes with ash once more. That is very true. That is very true. The Crum looks to have survived. The field's now completely spread out off the back of that one. And we still have 8.5 minutes to go in this race with Anderson still leading. Who's had an off track here? Big slide on the sand. Whether Lindsell can smell blood and try and drop that gap, who knows? He hasn't really managed to gain anything apart from this point now when Anderson's had the off track. So now the pressure looks to be on Anderson. He just needs to try and stay consistent here and hope that Lindsell can't catch him towards the end of this race. 5.3 seconds, though, is the gap. We know that Lindsell has got the pace. Ironically, though, last lap, Anderson was a 57.24. Lindsell was a 57.32. Crum 57.57. So Anderson is actually the fastest man on track at the moment. So he has got the pace in this car as Tomlin now comes out of the pits after that contact. Gets it fixed up, puts a few more Lego blocks on it. Guess that's the beauty of running a Lego-built car, is you can just go in the pits and fix it up. Just pull a couple of pieces out of the box. So, oh yeah, you're good to go. Back out on track. But does Tomlin have the building blocks to get a road to success in the Legends World Challenge? We'll have to wait and see. He is struggling a little bit here early on in the season. Struggled last week, although one of those struggles was getting into contact with somebody who hit them. And then this week as well, being wrong place, wrong time as the car was stopped on circuit. But maybe a little bit more luck next week. We'll have to wait and see when we go out to Alton Park for round number 3. 7 minutes in this race left to go. Anderson looks to try and lock this thing up, but a fast approaching Sean Lindsell has got him in his sights now. 4.2 seconds is the gap between them on the road. Can Lindsell chase him down and claim the first double win of the season? Or will Anderson become our third race winner so far in season 1? As I mentioned, big race next week out at Alton Park International Circuit. We then end our run in Europe with Rudskogen the week after. Should be a good couple of weeks to come. Then looking towards the end of June, we have Tsukuba, and then we head over to Australia for our first Australian round out at Sandown. So a lot more action to come throughout the month of June here on Infinity Broadcasting for the Legends World Challenge. You guys do not want to miss any of the action. Be sure to hit the like button, the subscribe, and the bell icon so you are notified whenever we go with a broadcast here on the channel for the Legends World Challenge. As I mentioned, Oran Park, our first race of June. It's coming Friday the 7th of June, broadcast on the Sunday. Rudskogen the 14th, Tsukuba the 21st, and Sandown the 28th. That's when we go racing for those ones. As I said, broadcasted the Sunday after those dates. If you want to get involved, get into the Discord, sign up for the series. It is free. We are still accepting entries. We'll likely be accepting entries all season. Come and have some fun. Come and have a crack at this car. It's a fixed setup. All you've got to do is just have a crack in it and get some practice in and see how you can go on track, because Lindsay's already gained nearly a second on Anderson up ahead of him. So we're getting into dying embers of this one, and Lindsay looks to have cracked the egg and rebirthed himself and trying to gain some on-track advantage over Anderson, trying to catch up to the back of him and put the pressure on him here in the dying embers. 5 minutes to go of this race. Can Lindsay get him, or can Anderson survive? He has a little bit of a bridge between him and Lindsay in the form of 3.5 seconds, as well as a lapped car and Chris Tomlin. How long that survives for, we'll have to wait and see. Coming up next month as well, in July, of course, we have Mount Panorama on the 5th of July, 12th of July, Oran Park, 19th of July, Winton. Then we head over for our first of 3 US rounds for the series, 26th of July, Charlotte, for the Legends Road Course Long Circuit. So those races to come up next month. And then we only have 2 rounds in August, 2nd and 9th of August. The 2nd for Long Beach, the 9th for Belle Isle. And then all of a sudden we'll be at the end of our season. So season only runs for roughly about 2.5, 3 months sort of deal. 3 months we run for pretty much. So there's still a lot more to come out of this championship as we continue on through. So Anderson leads the way to Lindsay, to Crum, to De Vries, to Fireland, to Sheaf, to Tomlin. That's the running order. 4 and a bit laps to go, roughly. 4 and a bit minutes to go as well. Actually, no, about 3.5 minutes to go. As Anderson looks to just run forward. Lindsay is dropping pace, though, on Anderson. Why is he dropping pace? He's dropped back to 4.6 seconds. So he's dropped a second there. Hey, you know what? For De Vries, it's early doors in this championship. Plenty to come back from in this one. First 2 rounds have not been absolutely atrocious. Can look ahead and can look forward to more racing action to come. So we're still early doors in this one. It is early doors for the championship, of course, and I hope you brought your key to get in through those early doors, because you don't want to miss any of the action to come. Early doors, early doors, early doors in this one. But are we ready to go for this championship? That's the question. Are we ready to go? We're trying to get ready to go, but now we're ready to go for it as well. As we have got 2.5 minutes in this race. So roughly maybe 2 to 3 laps left of this one as Lindsay's dropped back from Anderson. So Anderson looks to have this one wrapped up in a tight little bow, almost like it's Christmas time. And number 31 looks to get its first win of the season in a wonderful fashion for himself here. That was atrocious. 2 minutes to go now in this race. It'll roughly be 2 laps to go, as De Vries has ended up having a moment for some reason. He's had a bit of a spin on himself as well. Quit your jibber jabber. Well, trying to figure out what we're going to talk about now for the next couple of minutes, as a bit of a drift there comes from Anderson. The question is, has the N24 gone green again, or is it still red flagged? That's the question. As the field has now started to spread out. Shut up, you crazy fool. Middle finger outside net. Oh. Anderson done so well here tonight. As I said, it looks to have this one wrapped up. Tomlin just trying to survive. Linzell had some pace back in him, had a little bit of a dip. Looks to have caught back up now, but he's still got 4.2 seconds. And only 60 seconds of racing left. So probably a lap and +1 actually. So 2 laps to go in this one. To catch up to Anderson and get past him as he looks to quickly do now. De Vries with another off track in the background. That's going to hurt him even more. Dropping a bit further back down the order. Graham Filan done so well so far. Sheafy struggling once again. And then Crummy, just a solid operator as always out there. Couple of little moments in this one. Possibly a penalty coming his way. We'll have to wait and see from the race 1 incident. But he looks ahead to probably have quite a good season, actually. We know he can't show up for every round, but when he can, should be on for a good performance nonetheless. Jack Anderson telling me not to put the curse on him. Oh, there's no commentator's curse in this one, Jackos. We should know this. White flag is out. Barney waves it. Oh, sorry, the Barney twins wave it. As Anderson comes across the line to start the final lap of this one. Lap 27 here, just over 25 minutes gone. Ashton saying Matt says he is keen for a wild card. Get him in then. Get Livingston in. And hell, maybe he'll enjoy it so much he comes and races with us every Friday. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But Anderson done so well so far here tonight. Led from the start. Matt says he will destroy the field on track or via crashing. Because we don't want him to crash everyone. But if he's going to race them, then fantastic. As Tomlin looks to hang out here with Anderson. Up round the final corner they come now. 27 laps later and a little over 27 minutes later as well. It was a wonderful performance from Jack Anderson, who proves he is the master of the cheeks and proves he's the master of the legends here in race number 2. Comes home P1. Linzell will cross the line P2 to win the round here tonight after winning race number 1. Crum's going to come home P3 on the road. Fineland looks to come home P4 as he comes around the final corner as well. Looks to have done the job. Sheafy's going to lock in P6 on the road. As Graham looks to do so here. We're waiting for, I was about to say Livingston, we're waiting for De Vries to come in as well. Sean's coming in for an interview. That is good to hear. Be good to have a chat to him for this one. As De Vries looks to finish out this race as the final driver to cross the line as he has a bit of a spin at the final corner. Maybe just doing a bit of an expression session a little bit too early for us. Is De Vries in this one. Oh, well, what an afternoon of racing here for the Legends World Challenge. Absolutely wonderful. We'll get our provisional results up on screen for race number 2. And then we'll hopefully have our round winner, Sean Linzell, ready to go for a chat. Provisional results now for race number 2 was Jack Anderson ahead of Sean Linzell, Luke Crum, Graham Fineland, Ashton Rees, Tyler Sheaf, and Chris Tomlin. Johnny Rowe never made it on track, unfortunately, because apparently his kids were not allowing him to put them to bed early enough, which is a bit of a shame for him, but he will look forward to hopefully racing once again next week. We're just going to do a bit of a cheeky job here to get Mr. Linzell on screen before we drag him in. Sean face after a struggle in round number 1, especially with a early pit lane penalty for jumping the start last week. You then made up for it this week, got it back on pole, didn't jump the start this time, actually knew when the starting procedure was. Managed to get the race one win, but then just didn't have enough in the tank to get past Ando in the final race. Oh, hang on. I have just forgotten that I didn't unmute you on the thing. Now I've done it. Say that once again.
You love mentioning the fact that I jump started last week.
Well, you got to find any kinks in your armor.
Yeah, starts is always one of them.
So we obviously saw the incident at the final corner with Crummy. Now the RC report came out; it was called an NFA due to some net code. Have you got anything kind of idea around that incident and what might have caused that one there or anything like that?
No, I think there's just a bump on the inside there that I saw the move. Like I had a little bit more pace than Crummy, so I just saw the move. Didn't want to get held up too much, just so I could start to attack Ando. And then I think for some reason I've seen Crummy's line, and I was like, oh, I'll throw it up on the inside, and then he's turned in a little bit earlier than I thought he was going to turn in, and I've hit a bump, and I think that was about it, and that's that. There's a bit of net code or whatever happened, but the rear of my car just got picked up and saved it. I was never going to spin in the corner, and then net code or whatever it may have been just sent me around, did a 360, off I went, and tried to catch whatever massive lead it was that Ando had. I was able to knock it down to about 2 seconds, I think, on the last lap. But I was running with a heap of damage and tyres were pretty shot. So I was really just hoping that Jack would help us out a little bit, do a cheeky spin or just something like that to make it a bit easier on me. But nah, it was just, after that incident, it was fighting with one hand behind my back and one eye closed.
Well, that appears then how we can make it. That appears to be how we can make it fair for the rest of the field. Apparently, is put some damage on your car and then see if you can catch up to the front of the field. But I suppose, obviously the person who won the round last week, Jordan Ferguson, didn't make the race this week, so you get a good chunk of points over him, as does the rest of the field who raced in this one. Alton Park next week could be a little bit of a challenge for these cars. Going to be a wild run around that international circuit. How do you think maybe the field's going to go? And hopefully with a slightly bigger field next week as well, do you think we should get some more close racing across the board, not even just in the mid to front pack of the field?
Sorry, say that again, mate.
I said, so Alton Park next week, international circuit for that one, going to be a challenge for these cars. We should have slightly more drivers on the track next week. How do you think that's now going to line up? Do you think that'll allow us to have some closer battles throughout the whole field, not just at the mid-pack or at the front pack as we've seen here tonight?
Definitely. More cars, the better. I love strong competition. The more people that's out there, the harder the racing, providing they keep it clean and just don't put stupid moves on. I think it's just going to be fantastic racing. Like, these cars are fun. I've never raced these cars in my life. Like, this is the second race that I've ever done in these cars, so they seem to suit me all right with my driving style. I'm just able to drive these cars straight, obviously a little bit sideways, but throwing the cars around the corners, it looks good for telly, but it's just not the fastest way to go around. It's nice and smooth and straight, and I think there's a lot of, if we can get some of the supercar drivers in here as well, from Scops and those other leagues, get them in these cars, I reckon it would just make some absolute banger of racing. It'd be great.
I think they'd almost be forced to do a little bit more wrestling than what they have to do in the supercar, try and push their limits a little bit more. I'd love to see what the likes of a James Scott, Madison Down, Rehan Leonage and others could do in these cars, because
Definitely.
I feel like you'd get the best of both worlds, some great racing, but also some fast-paced action too, and could really lead to some not only important eyes, but more eyes on the championship, and that then means that we can provide better racing as well by trying to get more drivers in too.
Yeah, 100%. Like, you get some of the good guys in here, and they make me look like an absolute amateur. But I'm all for hard racing, fun racing. I'm not about winning. I'm just about improving myself, improving my attitude and the way I drive, and learning and adapting. Like, I'm happy if I'm having a hard fight for 15th. Yeah, I'm here to have fun and try and do my best each and every week.
Well, mate, that's what we absolutely love to hear. Well, let us know who helps get you out on circuit. Anyone else you want to give a shout out to as well? And congratulations on your round win for round number 2 of season 1.
Cheers, thank you. I just obviously, sadly, I lost my mum a couple months ago to cancer, so I do want to thank her. You know, obviously, without their support and her upbringing, helping me so much sacrifice in her life, I wouldn't be able to have the opportunity to do sim racing, to live the life that I live now if it wasn't for her. So just massive shout out to my mum.
Very good, mate. I can feel that one. Lost both my grandparents in the span of 18 months to cancer. So it's incredibly tough when that happens. But it's proven that you are still a strong competitor, strong-minded person as well, ready to push on and ready to have a crack in almost anything on the sim. And we love to see that. We love to have drivers like that in a series like this. So best of luck for next week out at Alton Park. And if we, for whatever reason, don't get to have a chance to have a convo once again, best of luck for the rest of the season.
Cheers, mate. Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming over chat, mate. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that will bring an end to our broadcast here tonight. Big congratulations go out to all of our podium getters, as well as our race winners for race 1, Sean Linzell, race 2, Jack Anderson, and our round winner, Sean Linzell, as well. We look forward to next week for Alton Park for round number 3 of the season. Should be a great one on hand once again. If you haven't already, please hit the like button, the subscribe, and the bell icon so you are notified whenever we go racing here on Infinity Broadcasting with the Legends World Challenge or anything else we may bring to your screens with sight and sound as well. I've been Hamish Munro. This has been the Legends World Challenge. And until next time, stay safe, drive hard, and as always, bye for now.